Hey guys, Patrick here, and today I want to talk about the MacBooks, the MacBook Airs, something that doesn't really fit very well in Apple's amazing or sometimes downright misunderstood lineup of laptops, the MacBook Air 11-inch and the MacBook Air 15-inch. That's what I've got here behind me. I want to talk about it because I recently acquired this MacBook 11-inch one. I have replaced my MacBook Pro i7 core one with 8 gigs RAM. I'm going to explain to you guys why I did that, but first I want to talk about these two things. Now, don't get too excited. I don't own both of those, just the one. The other one is my work laptop, so that's kind of cool. I get to compare both while using one for work and using the other one at home. First of all, let's talk about specs. Both of them are Core i5s. They have 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of memory. So both have plenty of storage space, not something you're going to edit videos on if they take up a lot of space, and gaming is probably non-existent at this point on these machines. I've tried both Heroes and StarCraft. StarCraft was running around 30 FPS at the lowest settings possible. Now, interestingly enough, the only real difference between those two is really the size. The specs are the same, but the screen sizes are obviously smaller, and obviously the battery is a little bit smaller in that 11-inch. Now, in saying that, even though the battery is smaller, I have this inkling, and I've tested it out a few times, that the 11-inch MacBook Air actually lasts, the battery lasts a lot longer. And the reason could be is because of the smaller screen and not having to render all those pixels. In saying that, both resolutions are pretty low. They're not something you're going to get in the new MacBook Pros, where you've got the Retina displays where the pixel ratio is just really high and you just barely can see any actual pixels on the screen, and that's really nice. High resolution screens are always really nice in small form factors even, but in this case we've got a 15-inch MacBook here which has got a non-Retina display in 2017, 2016. To me, that is a cop-out. Look, I can understand it on the smaller screen because it's less noticeable on a smaller screen, but on the larger one, that resolution is just not up to par. But the people who are going to be using this is people like me at work. We're just connecting this to a second screen and going crazy, doing things that aren't actually CPU bound, just browsing the internet, emails, writing, things like that. And that's what I appreciate about that MacBook Air. It actually works pretty well for businesses. It's got USB, it's got, Wi-Fi. You don't have to have a USB-C like the new MacBooks have, which is called the MacBook, which is the confusing part between all of these MacBook lineups. And both of these have the same amount of ports. As you can see, one of them is actually recording my voice, so that's what you can see jumping around here on the little one. I use that with my freestanding mic from Blue. That's really what I use it for, and this is where I'm going to talk about why I switched from the MacBook Pro to this MacBook Air 11-inch. Two things: size. I don't game on a laptop like this. I just want to browse some, websites. I want to watch some videos, and I want to hook it up to a microphone and record to it some audio. I'm not going to be editing videos, but I'm going to tell you that video that I did of unboxing Dr. Dre's Beats headphones, I actually rendered on this, and it only took about 45 minutes for that whole video. So pretty stoked. Obviously on battery, connected up to the main, so it wasn't on battery, and it worked pretty well. The MacBook Pro that I had was heavy. It was getting old, but it was super powerful. It was an i7 with 8 gigs of RAM. For a MacBook, that was pretty impressive at the time, but it was just too bulky, too hard to carry around, and the battery, because of its age, wasn't lasting very long. And that's why I picked up one of these. Much smaller, much lighter, easier to carry around, especially when you're traveling. It's nice to slip in a bag, get it out, we'll do some work on it. But when I jumped to this one at work, it's a much better experience in typing, using the Mousepad. It is much bigger, as you can see, than this one here. It is much nicer to use as a mouse itself. So why do I still think the other one is better? Well, the little one is easier to hold. I can hold it in one hand and use it like this. It is the true ultrabook in my mind. I have been a proponent of basically Apple's laptops for a while. The construction quality is always high, and look, OS X, whatever you can talk about it, You're not going to game on it. It's just going to... It's a very expensive Facebook browser. Do you need it to do anything more? I don't think so. I think OS X in this case is actually super nice, and it works pretty well for what I need it and, you know, what other people might buy it for. So that's why I'm going to say that I recommend the MacBook Airs to people who are just using it for browsing the internet. I don't know, maybe doing a little bit of Photoshop. It works, and it works really well. But if you are getting the MacBook, it's really, you're only buying it for that, well, look, that slim size, but the CPU in it is very terrible. It's one of the M3's low voltage, and you really won't get much done on it. You can do Photoshop and you can do Premiere on these MacBooks, but you won't be able to do that on the MacBook. Please, if you're keeping up with me, those names are getting a little bit confusing, but the one with USB-C. So that's the other limitation. USB-Cs, you know, they're not gonna, those dongles, all those things, attachments you have to have for it. But I have to say, and one of my coworkers has one of those laptops at work, this screen is absolutely amazing. It's basically almost 2K. It's beautiful, it's a Retina screen, and it's a nice form factor. Which is the other thing I have to mention about this 11-inch. It's not square, it's very rectangular, and it looks very odd. It is one of those things you say to yourself, well, look, I don't care about the looks, I don't care about the way it feels. If it does the job, it works really well, and that's how I chose this laptop. And I don't need to render anything on a laptop like this. I do it on my main computer behind me, so why should I buy a laptop that can do it? Why should I spend more money? The difference between this and that is about $400. So you're gonna have to think to yourself, am I gonna spend $400 to have the bigger screen, bigger, well, everything, and still experience the same thing on just a bigger form factor? Is $400 the difference that you'd pay? Let me know in the comments what you guys think of these. These are just my thoughts of using both of these laptops. I prefer this one just for usability. I love walking around with it. I love sitting on the couch with it. It's actually really fun to use because of its size. The large one, I think it's a little bit bulky, but it's useful for working in the office. And look, anyway, I connect it to a separate mouse and keyboard anyway, and to a screen. I don't use the keyboard that's on there. I could go with this one at work. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you for watching. There's going to be heaps and heaps of stuff coming up on my channel. Stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.